Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's session basically we will cover about the DevOps project 4 basically, okay, where we can discuss about the how to create the custom VPC, basically secured VPC, which has the public private subnet route tables, okay, how to make entry by using Terraform code. Basically we are not going to create the anything in the manual way, okay. Then how to create the database in the private subnet. Okay, and that private subnet database how we can access by using Bastion server, which should be in the public subnet basically, okay. So we will try to understand the architecture diagram basically, so it will make a more clear on that you on that part basically. So apart from that, after the sessions you can just try to do practice at your own place basically. If you got any questions related to any Terraform errors or anything, basically you can just do comment, okay, use comment box to ask your question basically, okay. I will try to help you on that, okay. So let's start basically, okay. If you are the just I can request basically, so just don't try to skip a video or just forward basically, okay, otherwise you will miss any important steps basically, okay, which might be very helpful for you, okay. So just try to be watch till the end of the video basically, and if you are the new user basically, just try to just like, share and the subscribe basically, and share with your friend circles, okay. So from this video they can also get the benefit, okay. So let's understand the requirement basically, for the DevOps project 4 basically. So we have the requirement like create a custom VPC which has the public and private subnet basically, okay. Create Bastion server. Obviously that Bastion server or jump server basically normally we called, it should be in the public subnet obviously, okay. Then create one MySQL RDS database servers which should be in the private subnet, okay. So basically which should not be, make sure that database should not be accessible through the public network, okay. So that should be accessible via inside the VPC basically, okay. In short, it should not be a public one, okay. Then open MySQL port for only access to that Bastion server and the private subnet basically, okay. So don't open any security groups inbound rules for the public network, okay. So just try to make note of this, okay. Then try to connect database server from the Bastion server securely, okay. We will see how we can connect. And we also try to connect from the my local machine basically, which is public network. So we'll see both way how we can, from where we can able to connect, okay. So as per the concept basically, the requirement we should able to connect via Bastion server only with the secure way, okay, not from the my local machines or any public network, okay. So the requirement is clear, I hope. So now once we created the Bastion server and the database servers basically, on the Bastion server, which is we are going to use Linux server basically to connect the MySQL server RDS, okay. So for there we need two package basically, telnet. So we use telnet to check any port open or not on particular server basically. So we will show after the server creation, okay. And then we will install MySQL client basically, in short. So from there, Bastion server basically we can try to connect our MySQL server, okay. So I hope it's clear the requirement basically. So now let's understand the architecture diagram basically, okay. So as per the requirements, so we have AWS network, we have a custom VPC, okay. That custom VPC we have a public subnet and the private subnet, okay. For now you can just ignore the EC2 part, okay. For this project I am not going to create any EC2 instance for the private subnet, okay. I am just going to create the private RDS database for the private subnet, okay, in the private subnet, okay. So if you have any private subnet EC2 instance, you can use this concept basically to create and just try to connect from the Bastion servers basically, okay, in short. So for now we are just creating the database, okay, and we are creating the Bastion server on the public subnet. So what we'll do basically as a user, sorry. So we will connect the Bastion server, okay, here. Then we will try to connect on from the Bastion server to database servers, okay. Sorry guys, just forget me about the coughing basically, I have just not feeling well because of the climate basically, okay. Sorry for that. So what will happen basically in the database after the creation of the entire infrastructure by Terraform basically, what will happen, we can enable inbound rules of the security groups. Okay, just allow connection from the Bastion server and the private subnet IP address only. Okay, that is the additional note. So I have attached the all entire Terraform code basically. So you can just, if you want to do practice on your local machine, you can just copy this Terraform, entire Terraform code, and do changes whatever according to your account basically. Like your, if you want to give any additional or different CIDR range basically, you can just give here. Okay, if you want to create multiple subnets like two public subnet, two private subnet, you can just design according to that. Okay, for now I'm just designing the one VPC here, and one public subnet and one private subnet in short. Okay, I am using two zone here, availability zones, AP South 1A and 1B here. Okay, you can just replace whatever the we have value. If you are creating the North Virginia or any other region basically, you can just change your region code here. Okay, now, so we are going to create the route tables here for the public subnet. Okay, and also we are going to create the separate route table for the private subnets, but the difference is, for the public subnet we are adding the CID gateway ID here. Okay, for the internet access, for the internet gateway basically. Okay, so just make a note of this. For private subnet we don't require internet connectivity, right? That is the concept actual. So for the public subnet only we can able to give the internet access, right? Then we are going to create the subnet association here by using Terraform code basically. Then the creating the subnet group for the database basically. Okay, when we create the RDS instance, we need to attach the subnet group, right? For the two minimum two subnet zone that is required. Okay, so I have just mentioned here. Then this key pair is basically, as we have going to create the Bastion server. So that Bastion server, to connect that Bastion server we require a key pair, right? So that key pair I am just putting here. That key pair you can already you should already create by using manually basically. Okay, so once you can create the key pair, you can just give the name here basically. And you can see the configuration for the EC2 instance. Okay, so you can just see the configuration like AMI ID I'm using for the Linux, Amazon Linux 2023. Instance type T3 micro, I'm just keeping basically here. Security group subnet ID. Okay, I'm just giving the public subnet ID here. You can see the variable name and key pair name basically. Okay, so as a user data script, I am using just for this, for the example purpose, I am just installing the Nginx server. That's it. There is no purpose for this. You can just, if you want to avoid, you can just definitely, you can just avoid this script. Okay, it's up to you, and you can give the instance name here. Okay, now coming to the RDS part, you can see the RDS has a 30 GB storage basically, GB2 MySQL, then version 8.0. Okay, and the instance class T3 small basically. I'm taking for the example practical purpose, I'm just taking minimum size. Okay, if you have a project requirement specific size R series or something, you can just keep that in, just replace the word here. Okay, then username I am just keeping admin. Password, just make a note of this. I am not going to hard coded any password here. Okay, this is the very real case scenario basically, because in the real time we don't need to do any hard coded password here, just for the security issues. Okay, so password should be encrypted. And here I am generating the password by using secret manager. If you are already aware about the secret manager, it's a, you know, if you are not aware, you can just go through and read that. It's a store, we can secure store the password securely by using secret manager service. Okay, so I am generating the secret manager password and using for this database basically. And additional note, publicly accessible false, so I don't want this database should be available for the public access. Okay, I'm enabling the multi-AZ backup retention period for 2 days. If you have a project requirement to keep the backup retention period for 7 days, okay, so you can just keep that as well here. Just change the number. Okay, apply immediately true, which is whatever the upgradation comes. Okay, for this database server basically, minor or major, so it will it should happen automatically. Okay, so if you want to add any maintenance window, I have not added here basically. You can just add that maintenance window and give the that option when you want to do the maintenance basically, like Saturday or Sunday. Okay, mostly. Then you can just see this password generation strategy basically. Minimum length I kept the 16 digit, okay. Special characters and the or other special character basically, okay. And you can see the secret name here, RDS demo DB secret basically, okay. Then the secret manager version, secret version basically, it's all about the secret manager configuration, okay. Storing, getting the results and using for the database basically, okay. So database I'm using the creating the custom database parameter group here basically. So why I'm creating the custom parameter group, it's a configuration for the database basically. If you are using the parameter group, obviously it will not allow us to edit any parameter values basically, like connection timeout, query timeout, or maximum execution timeout, like that, okay. Or if you want to add any database related performance tuning, okay, like I know db buffer pool size, memory size, right. So that part you can't add in the default parameter group. That is the reason we best practice is to use customized parameter group, okay. So that we can edit whenever they required for the database performance tuning, right. Then I'm creating the security group here. You can just see the ingress rule basically. I'm opening the mysql port for the private subnet only. You can see the variables name here, okay. And also I'm opening the 3306 for the public subnet, which is why, because bastion server should access, right, because bastion server available in the public subnet. That is the reason I'm opening mysql port for the bastion servers here, okay. So now I'm opening the ssh port here, ssh port for to connect the instance basically, okay. You can see here. So these are the overall terraform code basically. Then how you can just create this project basically, if you haven't gone through my earlier project video basically, over there I just explain about the how to initialize the terraform project, okay. Or if you're already aware about the how to initialize the project, you can definitely skip that part, okay. And to execute this command to create the resources, as we know, terraform init initialize the project, then plan and apply command, okay. So now let's just go to the aws console. You can just see as of now I don't have any resources, okay. Just I'm using mumbai region here. And in the secret service, so there is nothing created, right. So let's go to the visual studio and we can just apply those commands, right. So you can see in the main.pf file I have added the all the details as I explained basically, okay. So you can just I will add this. I have already added the codes in the repo, so at that repo link I will add in the description box, okay. So you can just follow that, okay. So let's do this. I have already executed the command terraform init, okay. So again I don't want to initialize. So now just run terraform plan command. So this is just basically dry run basically before applying the using the terraform apply command. So we want to make sure what changes are deploying basically, okay. So if you can just scroll up, so you can see the plus icon, right. Plus icon means that resource are going to create basically, okay. You can see the security groups and the other stuffs basically, okay, all the details. So what we can do is now we can just run the command terraform apply, right. Then what will happen, it will ask the confirmation basically, okay. You can see the changes will going supposed to created basically. So just type yes here and just press enter. It will take a little bit time because database RDS database creation takes 5 to 6 minutes basically, or sometimes take more than that. So what I can do is I will just pause the video for a little bit time, okay. And once database got created, I will come back, okay. Yeah. These all the resources mentioned, okay, it has been successfully created. You can see the status basically, apply complete, resource 17 has been added, okay. And the output of the subnet basically. So now let's go to the aws console and check, okay. Let me refresh the Okay, the instance has been created and database also created successfully. Okay, so now let's see, go to the secret manager and see the secret has been successfully created. So now we can connect to our Bastion server, okay, which is in the public subnet. You can see, just scroll down a little bit and you can see the here name, basically public subnet. Okay, if I look at the VPC basically, so let me show you that. So we have given the VPC details here, okay, 10.0.0/16. Okay, so if I just open the VPC, this one, right, 10.0.0/16, if I just copy this VPC ID here in the subnet section and let me just paste here, we can see public subnet and private subnet. If I click on public subnet and see the route table entry, you can see the internet gateway has been routed. Basically, the entry has been added automatically by, as we have mentioned, same thing in the Terraform code. Okay, but for private subnet, it should not be there. You can just check the route table entry. Only private subnet IP address is there. So this way we can manage public and private subnet for the secure VPC basically. So now I will connect this Bastion server. I am not going to use putty here. I want to directly connect through the console basically directly. Just go to the connect option and just simply connect it. Okay. So meantime, I can take database endpoint. Okay. And database endpoint is here. Let me copy it. Go back to your AWS console and the EC2 instance basically. Let me go to sudo su. Okay, switch user basically admin. If you don't want to go admin, then definitely fine, you can use sudo command before any executing any command basically. So now what I can do is I can just try to do telnet, just paste the endpoint here, a space MySQL port number 3306. Okay, so basically we use telnet command in the Linux or any Windows command, Windows prompt as well, just to check any particular service port open or not. Okay, so let me try to hit this. As you can see, telnet command is not installed here, so you can just simply install it. Yum install telnet. Okay, as I explained in the GitHub repo project, the prerequisite basically, telnet command has been installed, and now you can just do telnet. You can see I'm able to connect my database endpoint by using telnet from the Bastion server. Okay, so let me cancel it. Okay, now I will try to add the one more package, MySQL client basically. Let me go to that repo and we have given the command here, right? We have already installed the telnet. So now let me copy this repo, just paste it. Okay, so now package has been added. Now let me install the MySQL client. Paste. Why we are installing this MySQL client basically? Because we want to connect MySQL server from the Bastion server. Okay, if you are using Windows server as a Bastion server, so you can definitely go and install MySQL workbench or DB viewer basically. Okay, which is the MySQL client, so you can connect graphically to the database servers from the Bastion server. Okay, so two package has been added. So let me try to connect now. Let me see, MySQL client is available. Okay, yeah, it's available now. So what is the command to connect MySQL server through the command line basically? MySQL hyphen h host basically. Then copy the database endpoint here, paste it. Okay, sorry. Then space hyphen u username. We have a username admin. Then space p, which is called password. Just press enter here. Now he is asking password. From where we can get the password? Because in the coded Terraform code we have not given the hard coded value. Okay, so now let's go to the secret manager, refresh it. we have created the secrets, my RDS admin password. Just click on that. Just scroll down little bit here. Secret value. You can just retrieve the secret value. Okay, and just make a note. You can use this secret manager if you have that rights basically. I am user policy or permissions. Okay, otherwise you will not able to retrieve this option. Okay, just paste, copy this password and just paste here and press enter. See, so I'm able to connect my database server, right? So now let me show, execute any sample query like data show database. You can see, did I miss anything? Show database. I think databases. Yes. If I want to create any database, create database and DB name like DB name hyphen demo. Okay, the hyphen is not work here. See, so if I run again same query database says, you can see the DB name demo has been database has been created, right? So if I check this version, select version and run this query, you can see MySQL version 8.035 minor version. Okay, so this way you can just connect to your database securely from the Bastion server. Let me exit it. Okay, so now this is the one option, right, which is our requirement. Okay, so now if I want to try to connect this endpoint from my local machine, let's see, are we am I able to connect or not? Okay, just one more option I want to show here. You can see the publicly accessible no, as we have set up. Okay, so I have a MySQL workbench installed here on my local machine. So what I can do is, let me try to connect this host basically. Okay, so I am just giving the host name and the username. Just simply I'm just trying to test the connection. Okay, I will not add any password or something. If the connection is working properly, then the message should be pop up like successfully connected. Okay, or it will prompt for the password basically. That means the connection has been successfully established. But as we the requirement basically, the database should not be accessible through the public network. So obviously that is the reason you can see the error message, fail to connect this database endpoint. Okay, so that is the our today's project requirement basically. So data, yeah, that's all for the today's session basically. So we will come up with the more new project, basically complex project, where I am just thinking like add more technologies basically like Jenkins or something, Jenkins or GitHub Actions. Okay, so I will announce definitely according to that, and we'll see in the next project like DevOps project 5. Yeah, thank you.